today's video, I'm going to show you how we can create a SharePoint shortcut in Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse, which allows you to analyze SharePoint files directly in Microsoft Fabric without copying data or implementing complex ETL solutions. This feature is particularly useful for organizations that store their files in SharePoint. So enough of talking, let's get started. Now I'm going to show you the data sets of my local laptop, and then we're going to move on to creating a folder in my SharePoint, and then we're going to upload to the SharePoint, and then we can create a shortcut without moving those data in Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse. So I've got this folder and I've got these files. AWS sales 2023.csv. So this contains all the transactions for the year 2023, and of course we have the 2024 and 2025. So let's see the content of the 2023. So I've got the order ID, order date, all through to the sales column in column J. So I'm going to come to my browser, and then we can navigate to my SharePoint. I can see the name of my tenant, which is Cornerstone Solutions 1. And I can see this is a SharePoint. So this is my Microsoft MVP tenant, and I'm going to create a folder in this document. So to create a folder, I'm going to click on New, and I can see the option to create folder. We can also create Word document, Excel workbook, PowerPoint presentation, OneNote notebook, and so on and so forth. But we want to focus on creating a folder, and we're going to load our files into the folder. So let's call this one Sales Folder. And you can choose any color of your choice, and once you're happy, go ahead and click on create, and the folder is now created. So I'm going to click and go into the folder, and then we can use the upload functionality to upload files or folder. So let's just bring in a single file. So click on this, and then we want to bring in the sales 2023.csv, and then we can see the data is here. Now you can click on this, and it's going to open in the Excel on the web in order for you to preview the content, and this is looking good. I'm going to close this Excel on the web for now, and let's come back to the app.powerbi.com, and then we can go ahead and create a new workspace just to demonstrate how we can create a shortcut. Let's call this one my shortcut, and I'm going to click on apply at the bottom, and the workspace is now created. So let's provision the Lakehouse, because we create shortcuts in Lakehouse and also in KQL. So I'm going to click on this, and let's set for Lakehouse, and let's call this one sales underscore LH, and I'm going to maintain this Lakehouse schema to be created automatically, and this is really useful if you're trying to create a materialized lake views. So I'm going to click on create, and this is now provisioned in a matter of seconds. Easy peasy. Now we want to go ahead and create a shortcut without moving or copying the data that is resident in our SharePoint site. So I'm going to come here, and I can see this ellipsis. I can just even right click, and I can see the option to create a new table shortcut. So this is going to be created as a Delta table, not as a file. So go ahead and click on that. In the new shortcut window, we can see we've got the internal sources and external sources. So internally, we can create a shortcut to, let's say, a Lakehouse without copying those data to another item. So externally, we can connect to Amazon S3, Amazon S3 compatible, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake, Storage Gen 2, Dataverse, Google Cloud Storage, and the new ones are the OneDrive and SharePoint. So you can see they are currently in preview, not in general availability. So this simply means there could be some changes in the future, and we're going to wait and see how it pans out. So I've got videos on Amazon S3, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Data Lake, Storage Gen 2, and Google Cloud Storage. So you can see them on my channel if you want to focus on the SharePoint folder today. So I'm going to click on this SharePoint, and then in the new shortcut, we can create a connection if we don't have any connection that is already established, or we can use an existing connection if we do have a connection that is already established. So in our case, I'm going to create a new connection because I wanted to understand how it works. So let's go ahead and create a new connection. So it's really straightforward. In the connection settings, we just need the site URL, and you can see the example. So I'm going to come here, and I can see this must contain the name of your tenant .sharepoint.com. So I'm going to copy everything to the left, and I can see the HTTPS secured protocol. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to just paste in the site URL. And then for the connection name, I really recommend to give a connection name just to be able to differentiate. So I'm going to call this one SharePoint connection, and I'm going to come to the authentication. So basically, the only authentication kind is organization account. So this is fine. We can forget about this data gateway because we are not dealing with on-premise data integration. So I'm going to click on next. And as soon as we're able to see the next intermediate stage, that tells us that we have established connection, and sure enough, we have the connection working fine. Otherwise, we would have seen an error. So we can see the SharePoint document. I'm going to double click, and then we can see the sales folder we created not so long, and we can double click, and then we can see the AWS sales 2023.csv. Awesome. So I'm going to click on this folder because we are connecting to the folder, not to an individual files. So I'm going to click on next at the bottom, and this is going to move us to the transform page. So basically we have one object, simply means we have one file, and then we can see this is ready for transformation, and this detected that our source file is a comma separated value CSV. So this is going to be transformed from CSV file format to a Delta file format, and we can see the delimiter is comma, and of course our data contain headers as the first row. So all of these are fine. We don't need to do anything. So go ahead and click on next, and then we can see the shortcut location. So this is going to be created as a delta table in the DBO schema, and then we can see the transform from the CSV to delta, and then we can see the shortcut name. Now that's going to automatically inherit the name of the folder here. So it's a good practice to rename. Let's call this one sys_tbl data, and press enter to comment, and that's good. Go ahead and click on create, and that's all we need to do. Just step back and wait. Let the Lakehouse carry on the job. As we see that this is currently in progress, I can click on this manage shortcuts, so that disappeared, no problems. So I can click on this. I can see this is dancing. Go ahead and click on manage shortcuts, and it's going to show you the manage shortcut window. So we can see the properties, which include the name, the target type, target location, connection location, and so on and so forth. And then we can see the monitor here. So the last sync occurred today, the 14th of December, and I can say the status is succeeded. So I can see at the bottom, this is going to create a job ID, and we can say this is status. This is going on. So I can say this succeeded. I'm going to just close this window for now, and let me just click on this to refresh. And there we go. We have the sales_tbl data as a delta table. So in this case, we have not copied or moved the data from the SharePoint, which is really awesome. So I can click on this, and then we can see the table view in the Lakehouse. Everything looks good. We can see the order ID. This is an integer. We can see the order date, which is interpreted accurately as a date data type. We can see everything looking good. And of course, when you look at the right hand side, we have this file path, which shows you the name of the CSV file that we loaded inside the sales folder in our SharePoint. Really cool. So we have 22 rows at the top. Absolutely fantastic. Now we can go ahead and switch from the Lakehouse to SQL Analytics endpoint in order to be able to query the data using the SQL. Go ahead and click on New SQL Query, and I can expand this just to see the table again. It's here. So let's just write a simple select. Let's just do top 1 or top 2 from, and I can call the name of the table, put in a semicolon, control enter, and in a matter of seconds, we are going to see the data. Absolutely marvelous. Cool. So let's see, we want to perform a little bit of an aggregation. Let's want to say the total sales by the year. In our case, we don't have the year as a column, so we need to find a way to extract the year from the order date, which is really straightforward, similar to how we do things in Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to come here, and let's say we want to say, hey, I want to select the year. So there's going to be a function, and I can call in the name of the order date column, and I can alias this as, let's call this on sales underscore year, and I can put in a comma, and let's perform a simple aggregation. We want to sum the sales column, and I'm going to call this one as total sales, and then we can select where this is coming from. It's coming from our sales underscore tbl underscore data, and then we can use the group by clause. So we want to group by the same year, open the bracket, order date, close the bracket, put in a semicolon, and let's press Ctrl Enter. So this worked fine. So we can see we just have a single transaction based on the file in our SharePoint, no problem. Let's quickly tidy up this decimal. I can use the round function here just to round to 0 decimal, and I'm going to come here, put in a comma, 0, close the brackets, select the query, control enter, and this title. Now let's come back here and upload the 2024. So I'm going to use the upload functionality again. So click on this, upload files, and let's double click on the 2024, and this is now in the SharePoint. I'm going to come here and I can use this switcher, which I love so much, to just switch because it makes your life very easy. So that is now uploaded into this SharePoint. So I can right click on this and go to the manage shortcuts, and I'm going to come here and click on refresh. So once I click on refresh, I should be able to see the in progress for the scanning of the SharePoint folder based on the new file we just uploaded. So we can see this is currently in progress, and depending on the volume of the file, this might take a while, but usually it doesn't take too much time. So I'm going to click on refresh, and let me just wait for some couple of moments. This should give us a succeeded status. All right, so this succeeded, pretty good. So I'm going to close this. So again, we can still see the 22 rows. So all I need to do is to refresh this, and we should be able to see more data. Now this might take a while, and just refresh the entire page. All right, so this has grown to 47 rows, and then we can check it out here. I can just scroll down a little bit. We can see the 2024. I'm going to come here, and I can go ahead and click on this refresh again. And let's go to our query to just check it out again. So I'm going to select this query and control enter, and there we go. We have the 2024 transaction. Really cool. So let's say we want to also include the year or the product. I'm going to just type, hey, include the product in the aggregation, put in a comma, don't forget. And of course, I'm going to come here, get rid of these, and I'm going to include the product as a column, put in a semicolon, and reselect, control enter, and then we have more rows of data. So we have the sales, total sales by year and product. Cool. So let's go ahead and create a view on top of this in order to be able to create a new semantic model, because let's say we don't want to share the entire table with maybe a reporting analyst. We can just create a view. So look, I can use this functionality or write the SQL create view. We can do the same thing at the top here anyway, save as view, but it's good to write it if you choose to. So create view, and let's call this one sales year product, and then we can use as, and that's all I need to do. I can go ahead and press control enter, and this is going to be created as a view. So this succeeded, and I can say this refreshed automatically. I can expand this DVO, go to the views, and then we can see the view here, sales year products, and then we can create a new semantic model on top of this view in order to be able to create a Power BI report on this specific query. Cool. So go ahead and click on this new SQL model, and then let's call this one sales year and products. And then I'm going to select not the table now, but the view, and go ahead and click on confirm. And this is going to be created as a new semantic model. And then we can create a Power BI report on top of that view. And then thereafter, I'm going to add more data. All right, so this is now created. Let's go back to the my SharePoint, and then we can see the sales year products view is now created. Let's click on this, and we can create a new report, but let's just create an auto create report so that we can manage the time. So this is going to be ready in a matter of seconds, and there we go. We can click on view your report, and there we go. So we have 47 counts. So we can see that the option to create a shortcut to SharePoint is an exciting and a game changer functionality. So this simply means we don't need to create a complex ETL. We can just store our data in the SharePoint and then create a shortcut, and then we are good to go. So thank you so much for watching, and I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, please like again, comment, and subscribe to this channel because there is a lot to come. Thank you for watching, and bye for now. Cheers.